pending changes anticipated by the Chestertown Bridge closure and other possible issues, what changes would you support to improve traffic conditions in Ward 4? And let's start with Mr. Stetson.
All right, well, you know, I actually do think better when I'm standing up. You know, it's gonna be problems. And if you're in Ward 4, you're gonna have more traffic because people who wanna go to Millington, who lived over in downtown are gonna cut through, and vice versa through. But we'll get through that. But I actually look at that as a blessing in disguise, this bridge open for 2 weeks. I'm hoping that the citizens of Chestertown and Kingstown get on a letter writing campaign, and I'm not talking about those boilerplate letters where everybody gets one and signs their name to it. I'm talking about citing specific problems that this has caused for you, and send them to the governor. That's where they need to go. Now, he probably won't read them, but somebody will read them, and if we get enough of them, maybe we'll get that parkway that we all need. They were talking about a parkway when I moved here 50 years ago. 50 years, and we're still no further along than we were before. But I think this might be the emphasis. And Governor Hogan seems to be the kind of person who's listening to more. He's not necessarily building subways in Baltimore City. He's going to listen to the structures that we need out here in the county. So if you do have a problem this summer, take a few minutes and write a letter in. And I think it may have some value to us. But it's going to be a problem. Look, we're all going to know it. The town's going to hurt a little bit. The downtown businesses are going to hurt a little bit. If I lived in Kingstown and I needed something in a store, I'm not sure that I would drive this 17 miles each direction when I could just go down Centerville, which is a little less than 17 miles, but it's a little straighter shot too. So we're going to have, it's going to hurt us, but and we need to let people know that that's going to hurt us. And the people in my area, in my ward, are just going to have to recognize the fact that we're going to have a little more traffic cutting through there. But the real answer is that parkway. And I use the word parkway because when you use bypass, people in Kingstown get upset. Because the original thought was that we were going to bypass them, and they had to go out to 546 in order to get on the road to come over to Chestertown. And that's not true. There are at least two intersections on the other side. So we're going to move. I went to a bunch of meetings about 4 years ago, and the state roads brought in 4 bridges. One was a 65-foot bridge at the end of High Street. Can you imagine what a 65-foot tall bridge would look like at the end of High Street? I said, you try to build that and people will be down there and throwing rocks at you, and I'll probably be one of them. I mean, that's just not going to happen. Sit down, right?
Thank you.
Right.
Mr. Atkinson.
I'll be honest with you, everything that Marty said is true. And I agree with it all. The biggest factor is what we need, and it would help the 4th ward, it would help the 2nd ward, which I believe is right there at the coming off the bridge. If it's not the 2nd, it's the 1st. I'm not sure which one it is.
First.
And traffic coming across that bridge is bad. And a lot of people use the 4th Ward roads, taking Fitzpatrick Terrace up to Campus Avenue and then up Roland Road. And some of them, I live on Pine Street, and they use that as I don't know why they're using that to go bypass Washington Avenue, but they do. And the biggest problem is they travel fast. How can we get them to travel slower? I wish I knew. Because we have common effects in the ward. They go through those like they're not there. One of the things, obviously, is education, and maybe we do need to get some more police activity out there too. do stops if that's the case, but, you know, it's bad, and I don't know how it can get better other than to educate people, and I think that's part of what we have to do. And obviously, if as Marty calls it, the parkway goes around the bypass, across, on the, one is going across the east side of town, which I think is probably the one that's going to happen, if it happens. And as Marty said, it's been talked about for 50 years. I lived here for, during the time when they started talking about it, and, you know, they moved away for 20 years and it's still being talked about, and then they got further behind on the agenda. At least now, from one conversation I heard in the commissioners meeting a few weeks ago, that the new DOT head is actually going to look at that instead of just putting it on the shelf and letting it sit. So hopefully it'll be, obviously I would work to try to get that moving.